Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God, and well, I want to talk about Jake, and I want to talk about UI Big Daniel, and how the latest chapter implied that they might be relative. Now this is Awakened Jake, of course. It's not just Jake. As we see in the fight in this chapter between Big Daniel and in his fight versus Ji Park, we see that Ji Park is fighting him, and he says, "Damn, this guy's ability and capability of copying is crazy." And he thinks if Garyon Kim didn't die, how would a fight between them go, right? So he thinks that obviously he's stronger than the second and third generation, or it's just the second generation, and is relative to the zero and yeah, the zero generation zero, which is his own generation where Garyon Kim ruled, which again kind of implies that he is, Garyon Kim is stronger than James Lee and is the strongest in the verse. But this Daniel has the potential to be as strong, if not even stronger. And obviously our small Daniel fought really, really well against him because he also has the copy ability, but he just doesn't have the body yet. And as a result, he lost, right? But he did fantastic. And we know that Jake, in his awakened form, was basically Garyon Kim to a point that, Park G, man, he's saying these names. Park Jinyoung basically thought, oh shit, like this is Garyon Kim in the flesh. That's how powerful Jake became in his awakened state. Now, obviously, he got beat up quite a lot before his powered up state. And as a result, he, what I'm saying, he when he did awaken, obviously, Jinyoung Park basically woke him up out of it. He was basically like back, he got weak immediately, basically, because he got tired immediately after using such an awakening, which obviously showcases what I've been trying to tell everybody, that Jake Kim's potential is insane. But I think also I will admit that I did not see Small Daniel as strong as everybody else said that he was. But I think it's also clear from this that Small Daniel and Jake Kim are relative. And if Garyon Kim is being compared to awakened UI drugged up this body Daniel, then and Jake Kim was compared to Garyon Kim from his awakening, then that means Jake Kim's awakening is at a similar level. I'm not saying it's stronger, I'm not saying it's the exact same, but it's at a similar level to UI Daniel, this UI Daniel that was absolutely mollywhopping the flow with everybody. And I think that kind of proves my point that Jake Kim is stronger than Small Daniel, because Small Daniel, listen, he did decent, but he got cooked. And Jinyoung Park, I think, he has the relative experience, he has the relative strength, he has the he's relative enough to know these things. And if he was shocked at exactly how Jake fought and how powerful he was, and Jake almost one-shot him, to be fair, he let himself get hit after Jake awakened, and immediately he just knew, wow, this is literally Jake Kim, Garyon Kim in the flesh. And that took him away from his daze and woke him up. And he said, Jake, don't fight, I'm gonna go fight that guy. And he goes to fight him. You could also say he was protecting Jake here, but I think it's clear narratively that Jake's potential is Garyon Kim, and he might even surpass Garyon Kim at some point, considering he's had no trainer, no mentor, and everybody's refused to train him, basically saying that his innate talent and his innate birthright make him untrainable. Like, he already has it in him to be the strongest. And as a result, he has to just figure it out himself. And I think that's the difference, I think, between a Jake Kim and a Small Daniel, is that Small Daniel needs training. He needs to copy. He needs all of these things. Same as Big Daniel. They need these things to be the strongest. Jake does not. You know what I'm saying? Jake simply must be. Right? It's almost like I want to say like a Gojo versus Sukuna thing, but I don't know if any of you are reading JJK, and I don't want to spoil anything. But, you know, without going into direct spoilers here, I'm going to say that Gojo is completely innate talent, right? That had to figure stuff out by himself. While I think Sukuna had many helping hands in a way. Which is probably a terrible analogy, because I'll have to actually go into a deep video of that on its own, to be honest, which might be a good idea. But that's what I think. I think Jake Kim is stronger than Small Daniel, but I think he needs to be UI. Or he needs to be awakened, and then Small Daniel needs to be UI. And I think Jake Kim is just more powerful, just has a better body, and I think he can tank Small Daniel's attack, but I think Small Daniel will gas out before Jake. And I think base to base is not close. I think Jake absolutely destroys Small Daniel base to base. But that's my thoughts. You know, a lot of people probably disagree with me, but I think that is it. I'm supposed to actually do this video with another YouTuber this weekend. So look forward to that. This is almost like a teaser that I'm making arguments for Jake Kim here alone. But I'm going to have this debate with another YouTuber who's going to take Small Daniel's side. So just be ready for that. That will be probably tomorrow or Sunday. And you'll get a full in-depth thought process on that. But this was more of a what happened in this chapter and what I think. And some of these arguments I'm using today, I will use then. We'll both be prepped. So he's probably doing his research. I'm doing mine. And the battle will be legendary. So I will not title this Daniel versus Jake. I will title it something else, but I kind of am talking about it a little bit. Anyway, it's been your boy Supreme Cheetah God. I loved this chapter. The way Daniel was copying all the moves and doing all these crazy things. But it's also interesting that Warren thought he could last a good bit if he wasn't out of energy after obviously fighting Jerry and having a very tough battle with Jerry. So it's interesting to see Warren's limits, because Warren, I think it's clear Warren is stronger than Eli. And that may be a video of its own, but I've made that before. I made the idea that I think Warren is probably stronger than Eli, but I think this also kind of proves it here, because he's absolutely fatigued. And obviously Eli went and fought that monster that they're all about to tag team now. But I think, again, I think Jake will pull up here, and I think he'll be the decisive winner for that. But I think he might have to go do something else, but we've more to unravel. But I really like actually the information about the second body that we received here. That the second body is its own person, and that person is obviously trapped or something happened. But that person says you have to find Choi. Deal with Choi first and everything else after. Choi. So Choi obviously knows some shit. And I'm glad that we finally got this information, that this second body has a soul, or has a conscious within. And these drugs allowed Small Daniel to have a conversation with Big Daniel. What happened to Big Daniel? He lost his body somehow. The perfect body. Is he his own person, or is he formulating and becoming his own person? I don't really know, but I look forward to know more. Anyways, it's been your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. I'm out.